Hello everyone, my name is Sark and welcome back to a figure line that I haven't gone over in a while. We have the Pokemon Select Trainer Team figure. This time around, we have Mega Charizard X, the fan favorite of them all when it comes to Mega Evolutions. And I gotta say, I'm very excited about this one because I was lucky enough to find one at Target. So, we have Mega Charizard X, Deoxys, which I'm really excited about because those look like bendy Trendles, which look amazing. I don't have Suicune, nor do I have Cinderace. I'm very excited about all of these, so hopefully one of these days I can actually get them. So without further ado, let's take this guy out and see how he looks. Alright, so here we have Mega Charizard X. Definitely one of the coolest Mega Evolutions out there. Probably top 5 for a lot of people. Everyone fell in love with this guy. I really feel sorry for Mega Charizard. Why? Why did they make him? Well, they wanted 2 version exclusives for this guy, so it makes the most sense. So this guy stands at $20 retail price, which is not bad. And some people may be wondering if he is pretty much just a resculpting of the Charizard, the original Charizard that came out for the Pokemon Trainer line or the Pokemon Select line. And yes and no. There's a couple of differences, but I wanted to go over those towards the end of the video, especially towards my final thoughts. So, especially since this guy doesn't come with pretty much any accessories whatsoever. So let's just go over the articulation pretty quickly. Well, actually, beforehand, let's go over the way that he looks. So it's pretty much just a $20 toy. It has the trademark over here on the leg, which it's pretty well hidden in my opinion. It has a giant seam line going through the middle, but what can you expect from a $20 toy line in my opinion? Especially for Pokemon, the designs are very intricate. The tail is completely hard plastic. Now, something that they did change is that the tail kind of moves and swivels a little bit, and it is completely bendy wire. Now, I will give you my thoughts towards the end of that because I like it and I also don't like it. The wings look absolutely magnificent, very matte finish. The flames, the blue flames are unfortunately not translucent, but it looks really cool nonetheless. I think the paint job for this figure in general is really cool. The fading between the blue and the black, or just the blue into the actual skin, looks great. And then the paint job on the wings as well looks fantastic. So yeah, this guy has an amazing paint job, and especially for a $20 figure, I feel like they definitely have been improving upon these a lot. So I really like that. Now, articulation-wise, this guy has very similar articulation to the original Charizard. He has a hinge that goes down about that far and doesn't close, unfortunately, but it works well. Looking up, pretty well going upwards, so you can get him into a very nice flying position. You can look down pretty cool, pretty far as well. And of course, you can look side to side, and of course, he has just a hinge for that. Same with the neck over here, just goes back and forth. You can rotate it a little bit, but I wouldn't recommend it, mostly because it's not really the greatest. Now these are more soft plastic, which is nice because that just means that they're going to last a little bit longer and they're not going to break as easily. The arms are definitely a downgrade in my opinion. They have shoulders now that can sort of move him back and forth a little bit, but he cannot get his arms 360 degrees, which is an unfortunate thing. He has hinges on the arms here, which work a little bit, but he has no bicep swivel, which is definitely a downgrade from the previous one, which I'll get into in just a second. He has an arm hinge, a double jointed elbow, which I think works pretty well. These elbows actually work nicely. They're with pins, but it's fine. For a $20 figure is great nonetheless. He has articulated fingers, which is surprising to say the least, because I didn't think they were going to be able to do this, but they did. And they have great articulation too, so like they can literally curl up into a fist. So this is kind of like their take into just not putting in any accessories, which is fine by me. If you can get them into a jointed position, great. No belly joint, which is unfortunate. The other Charizard did have that as well. For the legs, You cannot spread them, but you can move them about that far forward and this far backwards. And he does not have a knee. Well, he technically does, but it's a little bit different than the previous Charizard. So it works well. Single joint the knee, just going that way. Foot going forward, backwards with the knee. Very standard. It can pivot side to side. The tail has a hinge on the back going up and down. You can rotate it a little bit, so if you wanted to get a couple of different poses, that could work. It works great. And it has a bendy wire, very similar to the Mewtwo. I kind of do wish they had done a bendy wire Mega, or not Charizard, a bendy wire Rayquaza, because Rayquaza is probably the one that lacks the most in terms of articulation, because he is completely segmented. But this guy, in terms of articulation, is pretty good. Now, before I go into my final thoughts, here is sort of like a side-by-side comparison between Charizard, regular Charizard, and Mega Charizard X. You can definitely see they're completely different. There's a lot of different choices that were taken for this figure. The first one that you might notice is that Mega Charizard X is slightly taller. And also, there's a couple of differences between the joints. You can definitely get a little bit of a split with the regular Charizard, and he does have a bicep swivel and longer arms, but looser joints as well. No finger joints, which is fine by me. I don't think he needs it, but it definitely does make a difference when it comes to this guy. He definitely has a lot more segments that are less hidden compared to Mega Charizard X, so definitely something to look out for. The joints on the wings are definitely more visually unappealing. This figure is pretty much outdated at this point compared to this one. They could definitely redo this figure later down the line, especially with how much they love Charizard, but he does have a couple of different things that I think work a little bit better than Mega Charizard X, and I'm gonna be honest, the tail is better. I don't know if that's just gonna be me or if anyone else thinks it's better, but I just think the segmented tail works better for a figure like this. I think the bendy wire just kind of sucks. Because, yeah, you can bend it, but can you really get into cool poses? Like, you can rotate the figure like this and get a cool pose with the tail. Granted, it's not going to look the prettiest because of the underbelly or the undertail. But I'm kidding. But this one, yeah, you can get it posed a little bit, but is it really going to stay in place for the long run? I don't know. It's seamless, which is great, and I just kind of wish that they did the exact same thing here where the sleeve is going over it instead of under it, so I don't know. A couple of things that I like more about this guy as compared to him, but I think I like this figure a little bit more, especially because of the wings. I didn't show the wings. The wings go up about this far, and then downward. You can definitely cover him too. So if you want to do kind of like a mysterious Charizard, you can definitely do that. So this figure is great overall. Like, again, it has a couple of differences on the shoulders. He can definitely get better range on that. If they had done the exact same thing here as they did, or if they have done the same thing as the original Charizard, I would have liked it a lot more. The legs, I think, work better on this guy as well because you can definitely split them to an extent. I don't know. Can you split them? Let me see. Because I didn't try more than... Because it doesn't feel like you can. No, you cannot. Like, I'm trying my hardest, but I don't want to break this figure. So, yeah. I will tell you, I think it has a couple of upgrades, but also a couple of downgrades as compared to this previous Charizard. So, leading into my final thoughts, I am going to give this figure a 7 out of 10. Mostly because it's a good figure. It's $20. It's definitely a cheap, affordable figure that you can get. A lot of times, people just kind of ignore these and they go for $15, $10 at the least. They go on sale pretty often if they stick around. There's a couple of figures that have stuck around and have not sold out pretty much. Although every wave kind of just fizzles out as time goes, so I would suggest getting this guy as soon as you can because this is Mega Charizard X, the fan favorite of the people. So it's something that you definitely need to grab almost right away. If you see it at your local Target, get it right now because he might be hard to find later down the line. So that's pretty much all my thoughts on this figure. I like it, it's good, it's not the greatest, it has a couple of drawbacks that I think the original Charizard didn't have. It's definitely better sculpted, I will tell you that. But I think some of the joints are definitely questionable. But I think overall a 7 is good, so yeah. That's pretty much all the time I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this figure. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think that he is going to skyrocket in price? Because I think he will, especially if he becomes rare. But besides that, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.